I'm Jeff Philbin. This is Dinner DeeAs. Today, we're serving up ideas for a simple Sicilian supper that's quick, delicious, and nutritious. As we make a salad from citrus, a chicken dish with heart-healthy olives, and a guilt-free date-based dessert. My guest today in the Dinner DeeAs kitchen is Adrienne Falcon Godsell. She's a private chef who goes by the name of the Food Whisperer to help clients eat healthy and transition to healthy eating. How are you today?
I'm doing good, Chef. How are you?
Very excited to have you here today.
Yeah.
So for those of us not in the know here, what does a holistic chef do? What does that mean? How do you define clean eating? Like what's going on in your world?
I think that's a great question. So really, in my head, a holistic chef is just finding ways to substitute ingredients that maybe you can't have anymore and still make that recipe taste good.
Okay.
While it's working with your digestion, your immune system, or whatever it is that's going on.
So in essence, maybe like a little balance and trade a little bit, still getting great taste, but maybe swapping a few things out to get there.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I love that because today, Adrienne is sharing recipes that she describes as simple, delicious, and accessible. A Sicilian orange salad, which we're going to be making in a moment. Then later, we stay in Sicily for olive chicken with Swiss chard, and even do the dessert making a dairy-free chocolate pudding.
It is with a secret ingredient.
Ooh, all right, so you gotta stick around for that part.
Or ingredients.
But right now, what are you doing over here with this orange?
So we are peeling the orange with a paring knife, preferably. I mean, we can use a chef knife, but I mean, you can also slice your fingers that way, right?
Absolutely. I mean, like it's just got so much different size in the blade that safety almost in a way here,
that's
and
why
better control it looks like as well.
Exactly, exactly. So my mother always used a paring knife. That was the funny thing for anything she did. But we're cutting the orange, getting rid of the pith on it. So traditionally what you're supposed to be doing with this dish, oops, I got a little snaggy there, is you're cutting out these segments here. Yeah. Well, you waste a lot of the orange that way. And Adrienne figured out that if you just cut your orange in half, and then we can just slice it this way, you're keeping the juice, you're keeping the orange, and you're not wasting any food.
I love that.
And especially with ingredient prices these days, it's not just eggs, right?
It's crazy.
It's all of our
everything.
groceries.
We're feeling
all of our groceries are feeling it. So let's be cost effective and let's be tasty at the same time. And fun fact, I do not like oranges.
Really?
This recipe I love.
Because of what is it about? Like you don't like oranges, but you love this one. What stands out for you?
I think it just must be the flavor of it. It's something maybe with the olive oil. Maybe the olive oil just kind of smooths out the acidity of the orange.
Okay.
I totally don't know, but I like this.
But you like this one? All right.
I like this. I like it. I like it.
I dig it then. So what do we have to do next then? How do we keep liking on this one here?
We're going to be using shallot or shallot.
Okay.
If you were using a larger recipe, then maybe you would use a red onion.
Okay.
But if you're one or two people, why not use a shallot? It took me, I don't know how many years to figure out, oh my gosh, we could just use a shallot instead if it's for one or two people.
Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. This food waste is real too.
It is. It is. And if you're not a big fan of something, then why commit to an entire
bingo?
Red
because
onion?
like at that point, now you're stuck with it.
Yeah.
At least have something that's manageable.
Right. Yeah. So we're just thin slicing our shallot. Like so, and then we're just going to have a little bit of basil, and we were having this conversation a little bit earlier about, well, it's so vague saying 6 leaves of basil because what if they're small?
Sure.
Or what if they're jumbo? Do you still use the same amount? Oh my
or
gosh,
like,
what
hey,
happens?
I see, like, you don't like oranges. I love basil. What if we were to make a trade where it's just like less orange but more basil? You're saying, go right ahead and do that.
It could happen.
Yeah, it happens that way.
Yeah. So there goes our shallot. There goes our basil.
Okay.
Check this out, a little bit of salt. My husband and I get in an argument about this because I don't like having fingers in salt.
Okay.
I want a spoon. And I'm like, but then you're getting all the mookies in there. What do you think about that?
I mean, I hear you on that part. Sometimes it is like kind of get the yuckies on, and then you're like, there was a lot of salt, and now I got to throw it away.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to know, what type of salt were you using there?
This is Himalayan pink salt.
Himalayan pink salt.
And it's, next to the Celtic gray salt, this is the healthiest salt there is.
Yeah.
You can't say that table salt is sea salt or Himalayan salt because it's refined just the way refined table sugar is. And then we need some fresh ground pepper on this.
Okay. You like a lot of pepper?
I do. What
Okay.
about you?
A little bit goes a long way for me. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like that one?
Well, then we'll leave it at that.
That sounds
And we just
good.
drizzle some oil, some olive oil on it.
Okay.
Yeah. Look how pretty that is.
Very clean.
Look at that. And we're done. Boom.
That's it.
That's it.
To get started on eating clean, grab Adrian's recipes at our website, dinnerdeas.com. Find us on your phone by opening the camera app and scanning the QR code, which just means point at the TV as if you're about to take a photo, but make sure the box down there is in frame and a link to us should appear right on your phone. All right, you want to try a bite?
I would love to try
Come on now.
Let me know.
There you go.
Let me know. Get your professional opinion on this.
Ooh, I got everything. Easy, clean. That's the appetizer eaten, but our Sicilian supper is just getting started. When we come back, chicken with olives and the greens that Adrian says are a nutritional powerhouse ahead on Dinner Diaz. Welcome back to Dinner Diaz. We're eating clean today with the Food Whisperer, Adrian Falcon Godself. She says her goal is to show you that food can be flavorful, nutritious, and unintimidating at the same time. And she's sharing a recipe for a simple Sicilian supper. A citrus salad we just made, plus olive chicken with Swiss chard, which we'll be making in a moment, and a chocolate pudding with a super secret ingredient. Before the break, we peeled and sliced oranges Adrian's way, which stops all the juice escaping, and played it up with sliced shallots, basil, some Himalayan pink salt, pepper, and just a little olive oil. And now I see you slicing away over here. So what are you slicing at?
We have some Castelvetrano olives happening right now,
Okay.
Chef. And they're just like this meaty, non-olivey olive that just gives texture and flavor
And not that over punch of that brine that happens.
Yeah. Yeah. They call it a keto olive. I mean, all olives are keto as far as I know, but I just wonder if maybe they have a better protein profile to them. So yeah.
Really good.
Yeah, yeah.
And like with those, easy to find. Like you see, like black olives so prevalent in the grocery store. These hard to find and source.
No, you can find them, I think, in any grocery store.
Yeah.
And I know even at the big box stores, you can get like a big old jar of them for an incredibly reasonable price. So
Very cool.
cost effective, good snack.
And you just got a little snack right there.
Yeah, yeah. So that's really nice to be able to do.
I like that. Now, I see something totally in a Dinner Diaz first over here.
spy.
Yeah, exactly. I spy with my little eyes.
Spy.
You doing something very unique with the garlic. What are you doing right here?
Yeah, I learned this a long time ago. You put down your bed of salt before you put your garlic on there, and you can even put your herbs. And so the salt really absorbs the oils from the garlic, so you're not losing any of that flavor. And I'm just doing a really rough chop on this. I'm not going for like a perfect mince or anything, because if we're just wanting to cook and not being worried about, you don't have to stress when you're cooking, because then you don't digest your food.
I like that. And
Holistically speaking.
Holistically speaking, I like that.
Holistically speaking.
Okay. And that's a great tip for someone, that it's okay to not have to always have that perfect mince and bring it all together.
Yeah, and then we have our Swiss chard.
Now, I love Swiss chard. And did you grow up with cousins as a kid?
I did.
Okay.
I did. We wouldn't get to see them too often because they were a couple hours away.
All right, that's kind of like what Swiss chard is, because it's like, it's like the cousin that you don't see that often, but every time you see them, you're like, I love this cousin, because with Swiss chard,
so much.
you miss them so much, because with Swiss
Happy
chard,
we're together.
it kind of sits right in the middle between, say, spinach and, say, kale. It's not as delicate as spinach, and maybe like the overuse of spinach in some cases, where it's like the go-to, where it's like, there's other things. And then you got kale that sometimes it's like, it's too rough, it's too hardy, it's just not delicate enough.
Right.
Swiss chard kind of plays really well in the sandbox with the cousins.
It does, and I think it isn't as dirty either to clean.
Yeah.
So speaking of the sandbox, you don't get as much sand with your Swiss chard as you do with spinach.
Because and also on the kale side, right? I mean, you have to rinse it like 3 times when it comes to kale sometimes.
And it's very cruciferous, and sometimes it doesn't work with your tummy. Sometimes your tummy doesn't like it, and this might just work perfect for you.
And what's really cool too is I just saw you do something really unique too. You still used kind of that binder right there, that tie, to really kind of have control to slice. and then you flipped it around because you've used everything.
We did, other than like the very ends. And I mean, I cleaned it anyhow, so you really can, but I mean, that's maybe where I get picky all of a sudden, where it's like, Adrian, now you're getting aesthetic about something.
I like that though, I like
but
that.
But you can use the whole Swiss chard, which is nice.
Very cool.
So we're going to drizzle some olive oil. And then it's nice and your pan's nice and hot, so we're going to place half of our Swiss chard in there. So I put my garlic in between so that it doesn't scorch.
Very nice.
That's what I do.
Okay.
So, and if you're worried about scorching your garlic, I know you're supposed to toast it, but it kind of does the same thing. And then we're just going to nestle a couple pieces of chicken in here.
Grab the recipe for Adrian's Sicilian olive chicken and the simple orange salad we made earlier at DeeAs.com. Just scan the QR code on the screen right now to find us and follow along on your phone. Okay.
Yep, so we're going to nestle a couple pieces of chicken right in with your greens.
Okay, and what kind of chicken do we have here?
We just have some boneless, skinless chicken breasts.
Easy.
Yeah, and you can just like put it all the way down to the bottom and have your greens on top of them even.
Okay, we'll make a little pocket well right there then.
And then we can add a little bit of water if we want to kind of get a little bit of steam. If you're in a rush, if you're hungry, if somebody needs to get to a game or something, it helps that happen a little bit faster. Perfect.
Put a little water right there.
A little bit of water. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of salt. And put the lid on it. A couple minutes, we're going to flip it over and add the olives and capers.
I love it. And we're also going to take a quick break. While we finish this up, when we come back, an idea for dessert with a secret ingredient that is sure to satisfy a sweet tooth. Ahead, Dinner DeeAs. Welcome back to Dinner DeeAs. Be very, very quiet. Can you hear it? It's the food whisperer. Adrian Falcon Godsell, who's loud and proud with us today, sharing recipes for a simple Sicilian supper. Ideas for dinner from her 40 years of culinary expertise, creating healthy recipes. Before the break, we started on our Sicilian olive chicken, slicing Castelvetrano olives, then dicing garlic and using Adrian's method of cutting it on a thin layer of salt, and then chopping Swiss chard, which we then heated in with some olive oil, adding boneless, skinless chicken breast on top, and just a little water so it helps steam during that break. I'm getting a steam bath right over here too right now.
All right,
Kinda nice. Get a little facial.
Swiss chard facial.
Swiss chard facial right here. Now, this is coming along to where you need it to be. This is kind of to your liking.
Perfect.
Do we need to do anything with it now?
We're going to add the capers with a little bit of juice.
Okay.
And then we're going to add the olives that are nicely chopped up. And the moisture from the caper juice is just going to finish cooking off that chicken, and we're ready.
I love that. I love that. And
Smell that.
You can smell the change in that. I love capers. Like capers are like one of my favorite bites. It's like that burst of salinity, but that's just like kind of brings it. It pops. Exactly. It pops.
It's a pop.
And this is going to absolutely pop with you all because you can grab the recipe for this dish plus the dessert that we're about to do at DinnerDeeAs.com. Scan the QR code in the corner of the screen to follow the recipe right there on your phone.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So we're getting into dessert, but I'm seeing something that's like totally not in the idea sometimes of dessert. You got an avocado here.
Adrian, you said dairy-free chocolate pudding. What are you doing with an avocado?
Okay, so like now where are we going with this? What are we doing?
We have some dates also, Chef.
Okay, so now you're like really throwing me for the curveball over here. So we've got some dates. Now you have those soaking there in warm water.
Yes.
Why do you have that happen in the first place?
Yes, so we're using medjool dates.
Okay.
Okay, number one. So whenever you're making a dessert, you use the medjool dates. And they just have this wonderful caramely sweetness to them that just adds that sugary boost without having added sugar.
Very cool. So it's nature's natural sugar.
It is. It's like nature's candy.
Okay.
And we're soaking them because typically you find them dried. You don't find fresh dates. It's very difficult to find fresh dates.
So this is going to help rehydrate a little bit, make them plop up a little bit, and get those sugars kind of reactivated.
Yes, yes. And it might get a little noisy here for a second. You're making a paste. We're just going to scrape this down a little bit, and then we are going to be adding our avocado. And we are going to add some cacao instead of cocoa, because when you have processed cocoa, that's just one of those holistic swap outs that you can be doing there.
Very cool.
Just so that, you know, the chemicals, the acidity, digestion, it all works much better that way. The other thing that I like to do with any recipe, and when I'm playing with my clients, is we're going to go for the bare basics first. So I would like for you to taste this with just the dates.
Okay.
And give me your honest feedback, because some people like it and some people don't.
I can do that.
Yeah, and then I also have some honey here to add in case it's not sweet enough. So you can use honey, you can use maple syrup, and you can even use, of course, sugar if you like.
Okay.
So, but let's go bare basics, let's go bare bones. Let's see what nature has to offer us, and then let's see what we need to do afterwards, because people's palates change.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that's what's happening. So we're just scooping out our avocado. If you have one of those little fancy avocado scoopers, then you would be using that instead. I think I left some avocado out here. I'm sorry. Oh, always treat your food with love, right?
Okay.
We got to talk to our food. We got to tell it how much we love it and how
Now,
excited
do you whisper or do you yell at it? I got to ask you that part. As the food whisperer, do you like yell at your food and be like, "You better be delicious," or is it like a whole like, "You're gonna be really good in this dish and you can do this"? Like, what's the style?
Dish.
It depends on the dish. Okay. A little spicy sometimes changes the dynamics.
Like, there we go. I'm Sicilian, so you know, is there such a thing as a quiet Italian, right? I don't know if there is or not. And we have a little bit extra water here.
And what else did you just add in there too? You just added, after the avocado went in, you went with a little bit.
We used the cacao.
The cacao one in there, okay.
And then we're using vanilla.
And vanilla.
And vanilla really does make a difference in this recipe.
Very cool.
So yeah. So let's see. We'll put this on low, and we're going to add some water. Now these avocados weren't completely soft ripe. And avocados that are like really ripe work best with this.
Okay.
But it was hard to find today.
Yeah.
Right? It's just the way it happens.
Chef?
So yep, let me know what you think. I mean, it is pudding. It's avocado-y, but it's not avocado-y.
But the avocado also gives it that creaminess behind it too. So it has movement.
And like I said, the flavor of the cacao will develop and you get more chocolate flavor out of it afterwards.
Okay.
But would you like it to be sweeter?
I do. I'm not going to lie, because I do have a little bit too much of that avocado there.
Yeah, yep.
So maybe you're going with just a little bit of honey?
Yep, we're going to add some raw honey to this. Ooh. It could be sugar, it could be maple syrup. You'll find a lot of recipes that have maple syrup in it instead.
That's the kind of fun one. It was honey first, then it became maple or agave after that. And now it's like maple syrup sometimes now you're seeing a lot of things. So it's like, those three are coming in the clutch right now.
And maple syrup is so rich in B vitamins, is one of those reasons why it's such a great sweetener to have.
And a nice popular choice right now too.
Yeah. So there's with a little bit of honey.
Oh, now it's got that sweetness behind it. And you know what's funny?
Yeah.
Now I'm getting actually an accent of the dates in there now. It's kind of like it just kind of changed that.
Complementary.
Where it was like first I got avocado. Now I'm getting the dates with it. Ooh, that's nice. That's fun. Yeah. We have to take one last break. When we come back, we plate up our dinner and dessert ahead. Dinner DeeAs. Welcome back to Dinner DeeAs with an idea for dinner from the Food Whisperer, Adrienne Falcon Godsell. She's a holistic chef who wants you to love yourself and to love your food. And I love that, my friend. That is super cool. She's been sharing ideas for a simple Sicilian supper, an orange salad we made at the top of the show, then our entree of olive chicken with Swiss chard and chocolate pudding made without dairy. Before the break, we finished our chicken, flipping them in the pan and adding olives and capers, then took soaked pitted dates and blended them with just a little warm water, then added avocados plus vanilla and cacao powder, adding a little honey to sweeten the deal, and that really kind of helped bring it all together.
Boosted all the flavors.
It really
Mixed
did.
it together. It's kind of like when you had that little extra pinch of salt at the end.
It's just needed it.
Yeah.
It just needed it.
I wonder if a little bit of salt in that would make it. I bet that might even work too. I've never tried that.
See, it sounds like you're adventurous too. I like that. The food adventure. And like this dish looks as though like it needs to go on an adventure onto that plate.
Isn't it pretty?
It looks really good.
you.
And it looks like it's simple and it's clean. but it's got all the right parts to it. There, you got a little bit of what's going to be that brininess, that little pop of that burst with the capers.
How about like that?
Meaty olives like that.
Yeah.
A little Swiss chard like that.
Yeah.
Ooh,
There we go.
that looks great. And very quick, very easy. And you could do both at the same time because we still got dessert.
Still got dessert here. We got our pudding pop going on. So we're just going to scrape this out. I almost want to mix it up. I would put a little bit of salt with it, but we won't worry about that right now. We'll adventure with that another
We'll
time.
adventure with that another time.
I'll touch base with you on
Okay,
that.
all right. I want to know the results,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah. I mean, especially the Maldon salt, like you were saying earlier. Imagine sprinkling that on it.
Now you're going.
Yeah.
Now you're going.
Yeah.
And now you could be going too with all of these dishes here because you can grab the recipes for Adrian's entire simple Sicilian supper at dinnerdeals.com. But as she says on her site, which we have a link to, you don't need to follow every step or use only the ingredients in the recipes. And I think that's the perfect thing. You want to add salt like how we were just talking about?
Yeah.
You're saying go right ahead.
Yeah, let's try it. Why not? I mean, you have salted chocolate, you have salted caramel. The dates are good, caramely. So, I mean,
Have fun.
Yeah, have fun. Let's break rules. Let's find what we like for the recipes and let's cook it that way.
Come on now. I love that. Thanks again to the Food Whisperer. I'm Jeff Philbin, and see you next time with more ideas for dinner, or as we call them, Dinner Deas. You ready to try this?
I'm ready.